and then something comes to me to where my entire world shifted from the perspective of I don't want to live anymore to, oh my God, I'm so blessed. What they truly want deep down is more than what drugs and alcohol can give them. Only a drug addict or an alcoholic or somebody who's recovered from drug addiction or alcoholism can really understand the suffering that a drug addict or an alcoholic goes through, and I think can help. The thing is that drug addicts and alcoholics, a lot of them won't believe that you can help them unless you have been where they have been.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of podcast with me. I'm your host Moon and you are watching Moonlight Guidance. Namaste. This part is in continuation with my earlier two videos of interviewing Mikel Vaughn on the glaring issue of drug addiction. He is a group counselor and a registered drug and alcohol technician based in California, USA. Part 1 and 2 covers Mikel's experience when he went through similar issues early in his life and how he got into the field of working towards this cause. We have data showing that India is high on opiates like heroin rather than cannabis. We have also discussed how marijuana and misuse of prescription drugs leads to fatality. Mikel also explains how parents can help their children before it's too late. I will give the link of part 1 and 2 episodes in the description box, and you will also find the link at the end of this video. Viewers, you may like and share this video so that it reaches to the people who are seeking this information. And if you are a new viewer, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon for future notifications. So, Mikel, once someone is identified as addict, what are the options left for the family members or the loved ones to get that person recovered? We both know that very few reach out for professional help. What would be your advice to the rest of the addicts? Can the result be achieved within the family environment? And at what stage of addiction the family or the addict should come to know or decide that he or she needs professional help?
So if someone identifies as a drug addict or an alcoholic, and they admit to their family that they want help, then the family can offer support and help on different levels. You know, they can offer to help them search out resources to get into a program like a rehab, or they can, search out meetings like AA, 12-step meetings for them, or spiritual or religious family members can help the addict, find something greater than, greater than the drug or greater than the alcohol. They can help the drug addict or the alcoholic try to find, deeper meaning. They can push them to have a better life, really, but at the end of the day, I think, a drug addict or an alcoholic's journey is so much more different than a person who is not addicted to drugs or alcohol. And what I mean by that is only a drug addict or an alcoholic or somebody who's recovered from drug addiction or alcoholism can really understand the suffering that a drug addict or an alcoholic goes through, and I think can help. The thing is that drug addicts and alcoholics, a lot of them won't believe that you can help them unless you have been where they have been. So, I mean, really, the family can be loving and supportive and push them to go on this journey. Like I said before, I don't think that it's necessary for everybody to go to a rehab, but they need to find a group of people, or a religion or a spiritual way of life that they're willing to go on a journey. So if the family can provide help push them in the direction of a new way of life, then that's all they can really do. Myself, like I said, I got sober at rehab, and then I've stayed sober by working the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and being around other drug addicts and alcoholics who have recovered before I did, and kind of showed me the way on how they did it, and then it worked for me also. I've heard stories where people have done it like at home. They got sober and stayed sober, at home, and their family was supportive, but they also went to AA and worked the 12 steps, or started going to church and found a higher power and gave their life over to to this God that they ended up having a relationship with, and stuff like that. And I've seen and heard that has worked for some people, but there's only so much that the family can do.
Thanks, Michael. So people who got admitted to recovery centers, we assume that they have willingness to change, to get de-addicted. However, it may not be true for all the patients. What role does willingness to get recovered plays in the journey? Have you encountered any such case where willingness to change was zero and you still had to work on the client? What's the approach for this kind of cases?
So, good question. So the willingness is, vital, but what we can do for the people who are not willing is we can help them see better the destruction of that the drugs and the alcohol are causing to them and the people around them, right? And hopefully foster some willingness. So what we call that here is called motivational interviewing, right? An easy process is doing a pros and cons list, right? So give me the pros of continuing to use drugs, and then they list whatever, right? And then give me the cons of continuing to use drugs, right? So give me what would be good, what you would get that's good out of continuing to use drugs, and then give me what could be bad if you continue to use drugs, right? And then we can rationally see some more truth. Yeah, because what do people really want? People really want, a peaceful, content life. If we can help them see that drugs and alcohol is not really giving them what they want, or what they truly want deep down. What they truly want deep down is more than what drugs and alcohol can give them. We can try to help foster some willingness to change. That's the approach that I have, and that I use now with some people who are struggling. And some people, they have the willingness one day, and then they have more of a screw it mentality the next, and we just kind of got to remind them. And so yeah, it can be difficult. It can be really difficult and complex. The truth of the matter is, for me, is I had to be willing to let go of everything that I believed in. I had to be willing to let go of who I thought I was, and my, just my beliefs and my ideas and my conceptions, everything, So all we can do is try to motivate them to see that there is something better. We can try to show them that there is something better than that high that you get from that drug, which only lasts a couple minutes or a couple hours. There is a feeling, there is a connection that is better. Being connected to the creator of the universe, or the great spirit, whatever you want to call it. I've personally had experiences like that, where I was sober and I've been in fear and full of fear and full of resentment, and I go outside and I look up at the stars, and there's been times where I'm just like begging the universe to help me or whatever, or to show me for a higher power, for God, for the creator or whatever, to show me and to help me, and to show me that it's real or whatever. And it's happened, you know what I mean? To where 1 minute I'm full of fear and I don't want to do this anymore, and then I close my eyes and I sit, I ask for help, and I just and then something comes to me to where my entire world shifted from the perspective of I don't want to live anymore to, oh my God, I'm so blessed, within a moment of minutes, And what it was is I had to admit that I was defeated. I was being defeated by the thoughts that were coming into my head, again. So I had to admit that I can't do this on my own, and that I need help from a power greater than me. And I had to do that at the beginning. When I first got sober, I had to admit defeat, that I needed help. But then I also had to do that again in sobriety, and realize that I need help in order to stay sober also, and that for some reason I always end up getting defeated again by these negative thoughts or whatever. And what it is I try to be in control of everything and everyone, and I call it self-will. I mentioned that once earlier, but I call it self-will, to where I'm just trying to be in control of everything, and I have to let go of that and put my faith in something greater than just me. I hope that answered your question at least a little bit.
Yes, I understand. Willingness is significant. It makes the recovery journey quite easy. And recovery centers also carry out yoga, meditation for the patients. So, do you think that spirituality plays any role in the recovery process? And if so, how?
So yeah, absolutely. I think that spirituality, if anything, is probably the most important thing in recovery, and I mean that's my experience. So yeah, like I've mentioned a couple of times already, is I have to believe in something greater than what the drugs and the alcohol provide. Because the drugs and the alcohol, for a few minutes or even a couple hours sometimes, right, they provide an overwhelming sense of peace, of security, it can even be of love, of confidence, of whatever, right? They give us this stuff that we don't have before we take it. When we're in the addiction, or even before the addiction starts. And that's why we fall in love and love the drugs and the alcohol so much. It's because they give us something that we don't have. They even provide, like for me, like they connected me to a power greater than myself, but it didn't last, and it brought me further down when I didn't have it, or even when I did have it, So spirituality in the sense of connecting to a deeper purpose, or connecting to a power, that can take away all your problems, that can give you that confidence, that peace, that love, that security. It can give you all of those things, and it not destroy your life at the same time. It took doing these actions and those 12 steps that I've been talking about so much. It took doing that stuff to get connected to this power, though. So it took some work. It took me being willing to do this inner work before I ended up finding out, like, wow, this power, the creator of the universe, or whatever it is, this power is real, and it's amazing, and it's greater than anything that the drugs or the alcohol ever gave me. And I'm going to do whatever it takes, right, to stay connected to this power, So really, I become addicted, right? I tell people this all the time, is like, if I'm going to be addicted to anything, I need to be addicted to God. I need to be addicted to being connected to this power greater than myself, and me and you have talked about that before. Being addicted to anything of this world, is just going to end in heartbreak, because everything in this world fades away, right? But we know that the source of all things does not fade away. It's forever, right? So if I make my life about that, but I need it, it's like I need proof, right? And like I said, it took being willing to do this inner work, in just hope. I had to find a little bit of hope that that there is something better, and yeah, it started with praying in the morning, praying and then meditating, sitting in silence, and getting connected to a group of people who also have went through this process, or people who are just starting to do the process, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, spirituality is the whole thing, and the cool thing about Alcoholics Anonymous and 12-step programs is they don't tell you who God is. It says you get to use your own conception for a power greater than yourself. So there's no beliefs pushed onto you or anything like that. You just got to be willing to go on a journey, and have a little bit of hope that it's going to be better, and then vigorously commence to doing the work thoroughly and honestly, right? That work that I was talking about, earlier, with the resentments and the fears and the secrets and the harm that you've caused people, bringing all that stuff up to the surface, getting rid of it, right? And then another part of the process is going out and making amends to the people who you've hurt, whether that be financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, and that's really what solidified that I was a new person, is that I was willing to do that, that I was willing to do that, and that I did go out and do that to the best of my ability, and now it's all about praying, meditating, helping other people, and continuing to take inventory of myself. Whenever I get back into fear or resentment or whatever, I do some writing on it. I see what my part is and how I'm holding expectations of other people, or I'm not trusting. I'm not trusting in my higher power. I'm being selfish again. I'm being, because sometimes that stuff comes back up, right? And I'm not willing to stay in it because it could kill me. It could kill me. In the sense of I could end up in so much pain, so much spiritual pain, that the solution be to go get more drugs and alcohol. But the thing is that I'm not willing to do that because I got connected to a power that I don't want to lose.
Yes, you are right. Once you set up that connection with the source, no one would want to compromise that. That was so blissful to hear that spirituality has a major role to play. With this, we are coming to the end of today's session. Would like to have your advice on one more vital topic. Michael, we all know that consumption of banned drugs is illegal. Even the children knows in their adolescent age they are aware of, teenage guys are aware of, brothers, sisters, parents, friends, everyone is aware of this. Drug is harmful for your physical health, mental health, etc., etc. Everyone knows. Drug use killed almost 500,000 people in 2019. Still, the data shows that every year we are getting more into substance addiction. So, what would be your message or guidance to such youth?
That's actually a really tough question. My message to the youth: start a spiritual path. Early, get a spiritual advisor, get a therapist, get someone you can trust. Get some serious guidance from some people who have been on a spiritual path for a while, before you ever make a decision to do drugs or even to drink. I mean, especially these drugs, you know what I mean, like heroin and fentanyl and meth and cocaine and stuff. Like, my message to the youth regarding that kind of stuff is just don't ever do it. But then again, I mean, I know it's, people are stubborn, and our own experience is going to be the greatest teacher. Our own experience is going to be the greatest teacher, unfortunately, because humans are so stubborn, at least in my experience, that we don't necessarily learn from other people's experiences or behavior. We end up having to just learn from our own, but I mean, my message would be, don't ever just be unwilling to touch hard drugs like that, especially hard drugs like that, and to seek guidance, to take it seriously and seek guidance from someone who's been on a spiritual path, or even just like a therapist or somebody, before you ever drink or smoke weed or even, marijuana. It's some really dangerous stuff, it can be some really dangerous stuff.
Thank you very much, Michael. It was a great episode with you. I'm sure a lot of people will be benefited from your guidance. Also, it increased my knowledge bank. Michael, you are based in California, USA. If any of the addicts or their family members from USA or India, or the Indians based out in USA would like to reach you to seek help through social media, would you like to share the details?
Thank you so much, Moon. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. I really do just appreciate who you are so much. The the conversations that I've had with you have been some of the best conversations I've ever had with anybody, and I truly mean that. So thanks for having me. I'm sure I'll be back. And I will have you, Moon, put my social media and maybe even my email information somewhere on the video where people can find. Just thank you again so much for having me.
Thanks, Michael. Friends, with this we come to the end of a wonderful series with Michael on drugs and alcohol addiction. If you want to see both of us together, please do like, share, comment on all the videos of this series. You can check out the first and second part of this podcast that will get displayed now on your screen. Michael's social media handles are mentioned in the description box below. You can comment down with any of your query or reach out to any of us in relation to this topic. Please encourage us by subscribing, liking and sharing this video. And thank you very much for your wonderful donations. Namaste.